My role at Omnicom is several things, but the best way to explain it is through, our values and pillars that I pretty much exercise every day, which when created was created to make it easy for people to remember. So it's literally the 4 C's. So I oversee culture, community, our clients in terms of supplier diversity, and collaboration in terms of getting the agencies together to collaborate on our diversity and inclusion initiatives.
And I think I'm right that you've been in the role for 10 years or so?
10 years.
How much progress have you made? What's changed in the last 10 years
I think we've made incredible progress. What I'm most proud of is not just the progress that's made internally at Omnicom, but us as an industry. Omnicom has been very active in being ahead and in front of a lot of initiatives that focus on moving us forward. I think there was a whole period of time where we kept talking about the problems and not the solutions. So really investing in programs that drive interest not only in our industry, but keep people, retention in our industry is one of our key focuses. So in time, our numbers have doubled, in some cases tripled. At the senior level on our board, we don't just focus on gender, which is really, really important, but we focus on the whole ecosystem when it comes to diversity and inclusion. So LGBTQIA representation, but also ethnic minority representation as well.
So my sense is that diversity has really shot up the agenda in the last 5 years.
Oh yeah.
Why do you think that is? What's really driven it and helped you make the progress you're clearly making?
Yeah, I said when I first came here, all my conversations about diversity were literally on the beach. And that's not a bad thing, because some of the best conversations happen at Cannes on the beach. But we were sort of like part of an overall conversation, but not the main stage. And so I promised myself that I would continue to come back and push the envelope to make diversity a main stage conversation. So there's many people that we have to thank for making diversity at the top of the agenda. And now, this year, we have a whole beachfront that's dedicated to diversity and inclusion conversation called Inkwell Beach. But we see it on the main stage when you type in diversity as a track on the Cannes app or on the website, you get much more offering. Versus, I think in the past when diversity was simply an appearance by Kanye. I think we've moved past that, thankfully.
How have clients responded? What does it mean for clients?
Really well. Clients respond really well. I wouldn't be here at Cannes for the most part, obviously here representing Team Omnicom, but I also have great partnerships with clients and organizations through AdColor, the not-for-profit I founded 13 years ago. So I'm here with Microsoft and P&G and iHeartMedia, and these organizations that take diversity and inclusion really seriously approached AdColor and myself to partner with them so that they can have an authentic representation here on the Quasset.
So clearly there are some problems which I'm guessing are still unsolved.
Yeah.
When you look into the 2020s, what do you think will be your big focus? How is the diversity agenda going to change in the next decade?
Yeah, I think the biggest focus should be retention. I think that people often say, I'm going to do all these programs to fill the pipeline. And there's really no real goals put behind it. The pipeline is fine. We have people who are interested and want to come into the business, but are they given opportunities? Are they given strong client challenges? Are they given chances for retention? Chances to be promoted in the right way? And are they put out front? Are they given opportunities to really truly shine and so show the diversity of their thought? And so the big fight right now is keeping people in the business. It's not asking people to come to the business. That's what I've seen. So in order for us to grow, we have to invest in that middle group of individuals now who are excited and want to work in our business. If we lose that excitement, if we lose them, we're really going to be setting ourselves up for failure in the future.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
From a day-to-day point of view, what's changed in the agency, in the way you work, in your business processes, in the way you think about innovation, as you've tried to push and roll out a diversity agenda, very successfully from the sound of it?
Yeah, diversity and inclusion is always evolving, and so keeping ahead of what you think is sort of the next thing to solve, it's like reading tea leaves. It's like, where are we going with this? And most people want to stay firmly in recruiting and firmly in things that are safe, but we have to be extraordinarily insightful about what it's going to take to really push things forward. And sometimes you have to put yourself out there, particularly as an executive of color and one of a few high ranking in this industry. It's incumbent upon me not just to figure out how to make people rise up, but also in my spare time and also through work, reach back and bring others along. So for me, I think I always spend time figuring out what's next. I think when people think they have it figured out, as it comes to me or anything that I do, I try to think of what's next.
Do you feel pressure to be a role model of sorts? You're obviously
Oh,
a very
I love
visible...
this question. I don't feel pressure to be a role model. I actually am a real model. So I've kind of reinvented the word, and someone used this in media a long time ago. Someone really famous who was like, I don't want to be a role model. And I think it was Charles Barkley, I'm not sure. But he said, I'm a real model. And I love that, because I'm like, yes, I'm a real model. I'm, transparent, I'm vulnerable. I failed forward, I failed hard, I picked myself back up. And I really show all of that. I don't try to, always present as slick. I'm like, this is who I am. So I think for me, I don't feel the pressure at all. I'm actually very comfortable with it because I'm real and I show all those flaws.
I'm guessing you must spend time with your peers,
Oh, yeah.
in other agencies.
Yes.
How do you think your approach at Omnicom differs from the approach adopted by other agencies?
My approach from the beginning came from my time managing diversity at the 4As, and then subsequently going into agencies and managing diversity. And the common pattern for me from the beginning was to have strategic alliances with organizations that not only produce incredible talent, but also help us in our strategic positioning as, an organization that wants the unfair share of talent. So, partnering with GLAAD and partnering with the Ghetto Film School and partnering with the American Advertising Federation and the 4As on all of their talent programs is not just about giving someone an opportunity to have a job, but simply put, aligning ourselves with those organizations has been the difference maker. Because when it comes down to it, whatever issue comes up or whatever point of view that we need from a strategic sense for that particular culture, it's so refreshing to be able to rely on partners who know us well and know where our heart really stands. Again, it's not about buying a table or a sponsorship, but it's really helping these organizations thrive because they help us thrive. Mm-hmm.
What challenges still need to be addressed? What should the industry be focused on in the 2020s to continue with the progress that's been made?
Yeah, I think the industry's challenge for the 2020s and on is to continue to build authentic relationships with the future of our business. And not just look at them, there's so many studies, millennial this, Gen Z that, but I've had a really amazing opportunity to spend time, work with, and really be supported by those generations. And what I'm hearing is that they want authentic relationships with organizations, and not just the kind that provide them with an opportunity to have a job, but something where their values match the organization. So I think companies have to be really aware of how their values translate for this group of individuals, because this is going to be the group that continues to make the innovation and continues to make the companies grow.
You've used the word authentic a lot.
I know.
What to you defines or characterizes an authentic relationship? What are the things you look for?
It's super easy. Authenticity for me is the feeling when you're on the right side of things. So trusting your gut, and I think, as an event producer, one of the many hats I have, but as an event producer, you have this thing called the voice of God, where it's like, sit down, the show will be starting. And for me, my VOG, which is my own voice of God, really helps me determine, what to do and what's right. So when I use the word authentic, that's what I'm referring to, is listening to your gut and having that piece of knowing, specifically day to day when you make decisions, whether they're business or personal, that you're on the right side of things. You can't go wrong.
Omnicom is obviously a multi-sided business. Mm-hmm. You have clients, you have media partners, mm-hmm. you have suppliers. Are you looking to see the values that you're promoting internally reflected in those relationships?
They already are. Right. I think I'm having one, and many of my colleagues who do this role will tell you, we have a different and unique relationship with the clients than, say, an account person, than, say, the head of an account or a creative. The relationship is has a lot of value, because you're really comparing your values and using those values to not only create a culture, but also revenue. So it's really exciting to have conversations with clients that don't talk about creative and don't necessarily talk about the direction of the account, but simply put, it talks about how can we be better and create a better team so that we can create better work. It's some of the more exciting conversations that I have.
It's an interesting moment in the USA at the moment. Give me a few thoughts on the kind of wider political agenda. And I'm thinking I'm thinking about what's happening in Georgia.
Sure.
I'm thinking about certain advertisers now pulling spend away from certain media companies. Do you think, I've been impressed by how positively the industry, how quickly the industry is responding to some of these developments. Are you broadly supportive of those kinds of actions?
Yeah, I mean, the conversation that I'm going to have on the main stage at the Ballet is really about brand activism. And so I'm super excited to see brands step up, because right now we are the opportunity to make sure and hold on to the values that support equality and support difference of thought. In the past, we've relied on maybe a little heavily on the government, but now corporations are standing up and saying, we got you. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. And the employees are thanking them by doing better work, more productive, and creating work that not only translates from a revenue standpoint, but translates from a societal and emotional standpoint. So it's a really exciting time.